All right, guys, the time has finally come. My vault is finally completely full. I've been playing a lot more Destiny 2 recently, just trying to get up to that 450 mark. So today's video is going to be a lo-fi, chill vibe. I may talk here and there, but I'm going to really focus in. I want to cut down my vault as much as possible. So as I fly into the tower, let's talk about what my actual goals for this is, or are. Let me talk about what the actual goals for this are. So I want to go through, I'm looking for weapons that I have many copies of. I can refine these down. I can get rid of these. I want to go through here and search. So I have so many mint retrogrades. Anything that I have tier 5 copies of, I want to make sure that I'm prioritizing those as my primary. Now, I'm going to be using a few tools here, and I want to talk about that here off the rip, right? So the first tool that I like to use here is obviously Destiny Item Manager. If you're not familiar with Destiny Item Manager, you are missing out greatly. Destiny Item Manager, or DIM, as you'll hear most people call it, is a tool that allows you to, in real time, in a browser, on your phone, on your tablet, on your desktop, be able to see all of your items that you have available to you. You can search, you can use powerful searches here at the top, like is dupe, meaning that you will see anything highlighted in your vault that is a duplicate. Now you can also see, you could do this as well and do as it is power floor, I think. Yeah, light power floor, meaning that this is going to be anything you've not used in the new expansion. These are some fantastic options for getting rid of, especially if you have dupes, right? So I see I have duplicates plus they're the power floor. I should not hold on to more than one of these for certain, but you can go through here and do this. But you can see that this is 181 items. So a lot of items I've never used before. So I'm going to be using tools like this to get in here. You see I have a lot of class items, but I don't have nearly as many as most people. So this is just one of those areas that you can kind of go through here with a fine-tooth comb and take care of. The other thing that I recently was introduced to is this, sorry, let me turn on dark mode here. It's called Tier 5 Report. This thing, when you come in here, you will see, actually I may need to, no, should be okay. So when you come in here, you can see that you have options. Sorry, I may need to do this in light mode. For this, apologize for the flashbang. You'll see that you have some options here. So looking on my Titan here, you can see that like I have some duplicate armor. So when I'm looking at tier 5s or high, so these are tier 4s, but these are the highest copies that I have of these. I can go through here and I can make sure that I don't have too many pieces that are almost identical to each other. So as I'm going through here, you can use this tool as a fine-tooth comb. Again, the whole point of this is you want to, you know, you're looking to have some sort of piece that has, you know, a high melee and a high, so this would, you know, this left-hand side is going to be your archetype, and then this up here is going to be your secondary stat along with that. So leaning in, meaning that the gunner type is already going to have a weapon and a grenade. So then you're looking through here to see if you have any other pieces that would come along here, and you're trying to fill out any of these slots here that have red X's on them, but you don't want duplicates. You know, I see I have 2 of this right here. This one's a tier 5. This one's a 30, 25, 20. This one's a 30, 24, 16. So what I can do is I can copy the dim, what's called a query. That is just the number that you can paste into dim. It's going to show you the exact item. And then now I can take that to the character. I always like to, when I'm doing these vault cleanings, I like to go on a character that I do not play on very often because I have a lot of room and I can kind of move things around. But I can go through here and I can just get rid of this and kind of nuke that out of there. So guys, that's what I'm going to be doing today. I hope you guys can find some value out of this. Again, I may talk throughout this occasionally. This is probably going to be a long video, but I have time to kind of take a look at this. So I'm just gonna be sitting here, gonna have music playing in the background, but this is just for your enjoyment. If you want to sit, have this on, vibe with me, and just see me clean out my vault, what it looks like. You know, maybe see if you find weapons that I'm doing at the same time. So I'm going to go mute now, and I'm going to turn on some music and going to get after it. So guys, popping in real quick just to break down some of the stuff that's going on. You guys just saw I did a first pass across all of my weapons and armor. Some of the things I held on to before that I decided that I would just go ahead and nuke were artifice armor. Anything that was below a tier 4. So you can see I have this helmet right here. I don't need this here, right? I don't need anything that's below a tier 4. When it comes to armor. Weapons are a little different just in case you don't have. So like you can see I here have an opaque hourglass. However, I think on one of my other characters, I actually have a higher tier and better roll. So let's pull all of these to my hunter, or I'm sorry, to my warlock. And we're just gonna look at all of them together. So right now what I'm moving from is I was doing just a first glancing pass, right? Scraping across, thinking through situations of which I would need or not need certain items, right? This cynosure here, I have no need for this, especially with the new strand rocket that they have given us, the Haliatus. No need. So that's what the main thing you want to think through, right? Like I have here, I have a couple of adaptive frame strand rockets, and then we have aggressive frame cold comforts here. Am I realistically going to take some of these older weapons over some of the new things they put out? Probably not. So it may be time to get rid of them. The only thing to think through, the only lens to really think through, is the fact that you cannot get some of this stuff like in the present game. And the reason that matters is in situations of like, okay, so I picked up this Dragon Colt sickle. This was very niche at one point. I can go back and get that from Warlord's Room, but what I cannot go back and get the Rite of the Nine weapons. Looking here, like I can't get any of these shiny Wilder Flight Adepts, even though I may not use this. This is something that's special to me. I want to just hold on to. I worked hard for it. I worked hard to go get that. So I'm going to hold on to some of that stuff. So you may see and you say, well, just nuke that, get rid of that, whatever. I'm not going to do that because right now I'm just working through. There's plenty of options here. There's plenty of things that I can get still that I'm holding on to. Mind you, I have some of these things. Now, there's some stuff I've never even used before, and I have, right? Like I've never used this plug 1 adept here. I don't care. It's an adept weapon. I don't care. It's something. I've not used this Arcane Embrace all the way since last year's Festival of the Lost. We have a new Festival of the Lost coming up. I've not used this Macabre. I'm gonna get rid of this. And I may get new versions of these in the new game. And if I do, that's great. If not, so be it. There's gonna be, Bungie does a really good job of making sure that if something is completely meta, that they're going to find a way to give us access to that type of weapon. Whether it's the exact same weapon or it's a new weapon in a similar archetype or something adjacent to. They do a really good job of that. So I'm looking here, I'm even thinking Indebted Kindness, right? I have this Lead from Gold Volt Shot. This is the only role I really need. However, I have a special place in my heart for this first one that ever came out with 17,477. I do not need this loose change roll. So I'm gonna get rid of this. Nuke that. This Rosarago, this was really, really good when it first came out in the Void season. I don't need these anymore. These are world drops. I can get these back from the gunsmith if I need them. However, something like this Gnawing Hunger, I spent so much time farming for this Gnawing Hunger. This was a curated drop that came from the Reckoning before it did. I will never get rid of this weapon. This is very special to me. So that's where you kind of can draw the line. You can see we've already made progress here. So what I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to break out the tools that I can use to parse through some of these options, right? Looking through the duplicates, looking through things that are lesser rolls. You can see Mint Retrogrades here. We still have a bunch of them that are available to us. So I need to get through here. I need to start trimming these down, cutting the fat even further, and see what we can pull off. So we're going to continue to do that. Probably go mute here again for a while, but I'm going to continue to pop in little by little anytime that I have something to share with you guys. So if you're still hanging out, appreciate you guys. Hit the like and subscribe button. If you like these lo-fi vibes, just chill, just doing this. This is super easy. If this doesn't get watched, it doesn't matter because it's vibing. But if you're still here watching, I appreciate you guys. You know I do. All right, here we go. Real quick, if you are going through here and you're looking through some of these weapons, right, like these very high top end meta weapons, and you say, Sax, I don't know what to get rid of, I want you to think through the lens of, are you going to push high enough in your power climb, your power journey, to start getting abundant tier 5s? What I mean by that is if you hit 450, you will be showered. This is what I've been told. You guys can see right now my Titan is 437, which means effectively all my characters are there because I can pull old armor from season passes, things like that, to bring me up. So I'm effectively at 437 across the board. You can see account power here, maximum power. What I've been told is when you hit 450, basically every activity in the game just showers tier 5s on you. So let me ask you this. Does it really, really, at the end of the day, does it matter that I'm looking at my mint retrogrades and I have tier 3s that may be god rolls when I'm thinking and intending on pushing up to 450 and beyond? No. The answer is no. So as I'm going through here, you know, I see this tier 2. I don't even need to look at these. Nuke them. I don't need them because I know that I'm going to have opportunities. Now, you have to ask yourself that, right? You have to ask yourself that in the framework of yourself, your play style, the activities you perform. Like if you go in and you get a really good tier 2 or tier 3 weapon, let's say it's a raid weapon, something of that sort, you may not have the opportunities that someone like myself, where I do a lot of teaching runs and things like that. So that's just not going to matter nearly as much to you, right? So now I have parsed down, and those are all of the opaque hourglasses I have now. So when I go through here, I can look in my vault and see that, okay, now I'm just going between these two. It's a tier 3, tier 4. Now this is where a little nuance comes in, right? So I know impulse amplifier, but these are, you know, this is not a good roll here. And then I look at this one here at impulse vorpal, you know, and this isn't even exactly what I'm looking for at this point. So, however, that is better. This one right here is better than this one here. So then you can choose if you want to. You can infuse in identical if you want to. You can extract the materials as well if you want to get rid of it. I would prefer, and I would actually lean on the side of extracting, meaning you just fully dismantle. Instead, if something's at a high enough level where it's not going to hinder you, or you're not going to be hindered in certain activities, I would just go ahead and take care of that and say, well, let's do, you know, let's take the materials out so you can get those unstable cores. I know a lot of people, when they get in the high bands and they're really trying to up, the cost gets very high, especially if you want to, you know, you want to bring up anything that's severely lower all the way up to where you are. So guys, take a look here. You know, I'm sitting at 87,000, and I've been progressively, like on my Titan, I've been really aggressive on bringing stuff up there. So just something to think about. Get rid of this white gear that I was holding on to for a challenge that we did. Just another thing. Man, does it feel good to clean up some space. There's such a mental tax that takes place as well when you're thinking through this stuff. So you can see this is a tier 2 finite maybe. I don't need this. Where I'm at in my power climb, I don't need a tier 2. So guys, I'm gonna hop back into it. I just wanted to, that popped in my mind, so I wanted to share that with you. So hope you're hanging out still and enjoying your time, and I'll pop back in if I have something to share. All right, guys, popping in real quick. I want to tell you guys about another site that I use. Now, again, a lot of you guys might know all these sites, so that's not a problem. This is not new news to you, but this is something that I like to do. And I've had people in the past tell me like, oh, you know, I look in Destiny Item Manager, I see a thunder, you know, or like I know, or I use dim, and I see thumbs up across the board, and you know that means I have the best. Well, you know, if we're looking here at Mint Retrograde here, you can see that for some reason it, you know, it has the right things thumbs up in the first few columns, and then finally it has Mint Retrograde has chain reaction. Now, chain reaction is not a bad perk, but chain reaction is not a perk that I would say you have to keep this rule. Okay, so I don't always trust the wish lists inside of Destiny Item Manager. It does a lot of things really, really well, but it's not necessarily something I want to rely on all the time. So when I am unsure about a weapon and keeping duplicate copies of it, or what the god roll even would be for something, you guys have seen these images in my videos in the past if you've watched, and maybe you've seen that. This is one I'm going to look up, is Fenutria Fera. This is the energy shotgun hand cannon that's a solar shotgun hand cannon that came from the Arms Day event. This is something that I would say I'm not a super huge expert on. However, if you come onto this page, so light.gg is the website I'm on right now, light.gg, and you come onto here and you type in the name. If you don't know the spelling of the name, you're just going to have to look in the game, come in here. You can see all the alternate versions of it. So you can see the holofoil versions. You can see just anything that would be in here. And then what I like to do is I like to come in here and you can see from this perspective. Now, this gets a little weird because, you know, typically they'll have PvP and PvE versions in here and copies. So I want to take a look here at some of these other versions. Let's see if they have any PvP. No, for some reason they don't. So they just have preferred options for PvE in here right now. But what you can see is you're kind of looking along the lines of some of these that are here. And as I'm hovering, you can kind of see it. It might be a little small on the screen, but you can see on this little tooltip that pops up, you can see at the bottom the global popularity, meaning this is the amount of people that are registered with light.gg. So they've connected their Bungie account to light.gg, and then they're taking an inventory of everyone's vaults that are connected, and then they're kind of accruing that information for us and then putting that out there. So this can be skewed. Okay, so let's talk about the ways this can be skewed. This can be skewed by player sentiment, as far as, just, oh, someone puts a video out and something of this sort. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. It just means that most people have it. Another way it can be skewed is if the game sells a copy or gives you a copy for free, because that means that a lot of people may have that version but have not gone through the effort of grinding out for another version. So that could also skew. I know that we got a curated role, the same role that everyone got. So be mindful of that when you're thinking. Use this as a framework. Try weapons out. That's the best thing you can do for this. But I'm going in here. I'm looking at some of these. It looks like this may be a little skewed based on what has been given here. But as I'm looking here, I'm looking for what the top option is for this. Looks like the top option actually is not a PvE option. This is actually something that would be more PvP related, which is slide shot. So you can see global popularity. People are holding on to slide shot primarily. And then we have things like a 1-2 punch. You have a swashbuckler that's in this area as well. You have frenzy, incandescent, these types of weapons here. So if you're these types of perks, so if you get confused at all, or you're like, I don't really know where to go, you can come here and just use it as a framework, kind of give yourself a, you know, an idea here, right? So I have a slide shot, 1-2 punch. I have a threat detector swashbuckler, which can be good, you know, up close and personal, and then getting a little extra melee or a little extra weapon damage when you get melee kills, or other way around. Come in here, you know, I see, so I have a threat detector, slide shot, 1-2 punch, swashbuckler. This may have been the curated role that I got, and then I also did get this shiny version here, which is a threat remover, swashbuckler. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and nuke. I'm gonna keep these two here. They just crossed. They're on that 3. I'd like a 4 or a 5. I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of these other 2. So guys, I'm getting close to the end here. Now the goal was not to completely nuke everything in my vault, but it was to free up some space here. You know, I'm seeing, okay, so now I have almost 200 spaces in here. Let's talk about one more thing, one more concept for cleaning out your vault that you might have struggled with in the past, and maybe you're coming to grips with the fact that Bungie is doing away with the crafting system. It's something that worked during the Witch Queen time, but they're going away from it. Whether they do it fully forever and they never put another craftable weapon in the game, I don't know. But right now, especially with the introduction of the raid and everything seasonal wise, nothing is craftable. That means to me that the other thing that they're going away with are adept weapons. So everything's going to this 5-tier system. So we can look at it, right? We can look at some of these weapons here. Okay, this is a perfect case here. We have the Eminence submachine gun. We have a normal crafted version here that is fully enhanced as far as it can be. So this is essentially a tier 2 weapon. Okay, so this is crafted. I have these 2 perks here are enhanced. I cannot put the enhanced mods on here, you know, weapon mods. I cannot enhance anything at the beginning as far as the rifling, the magazine. I can't go in here. There's no enhanced origin trait. Obviously, I don't have double perks. Then I look in here and I go over to the Eminence Adept. And this is when I have all of the challenges done and everything to boost up my drop chance. You know, you see, so this is a little closer to a tier 3, even nearing, you know, has some qualities of a tier 5. With the 3 perks and things of that sort, but I don't have these here. So this is basically a tier 3 weapon. Guys, we've come to a new day, right? So maybe I'll give it tier 4 because I can use some of these adept or enhanced perks on here, like you know, adept targeting, adept mag, you know, these types of things. So let's give it a tier 4, a light tier 4. Guys, I can get tier 4s from about anywhere in the game at this point, right? You know, a lot of portal options, a lot of things with the raid, and they're only gonna, the sources are only gonna become more abundant, right? We are in the first season, the first year of a new system. If you are between either of these, I would keep an adept if it has multiple perks in here that you really feel confident about. This right here is a perfect example of a very mid-tier submachine gun. I just don't need this. I don't need this adept. It's an adept weapon. There's a lot of people who would kill for it. You can see it's only level 18 because I think I raised it to that level artificially. I just put materials into it. I've only killed 104 enemies with it, so I definitely have not done it legitimately as far as going and using it or even going to Shurachi or anything like that. I'm gonna go get rid of this, and so I can do that now. I still have this other Eminence. I like the SMG, but it's not fantastic. It's not the best in the world, but I'll hold on to it, right? I'll hold on to it. It's crafted. I've already put some stuff in there, but that's just something to think through. You know, a lens to think through is like, again, is it reobtainable? Crafted weapons are reobtainable. Raid weapons are technically reobtainable. So that would be the first lens. You know, something like this trophy hunter. I cannot get this back. This came out Season of Dawn. This is one of my favorite weapons that have ever been out in the game. I love the feeling of this weapon. I love the look of this weapon. I love the way it sounds when you use it. I also have very high sentimental value. I use this during our flawless Scourge of the Past runs when we were working very hard for that flawless. And so I use this to break all the crit points on the boss, things of that sort. This is something that's special to me. I cannot get this again. I will not get rid of this. I will hold on to this as long as I can and go for that. But you know, I'm looking at these. I got 2 Acacia's Dejections that are both adept. This one only has 1 perk each column in here, and then this one has 3, right? And go through here, but both of those are pretty mid-tier. But I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the one that only has 2 perks because I have the ability to craft it. I can go in, I can take care of it in that manner. So guys, I hope this video, you know, you found some value out of it. If not, it's very low bar, low deal to get this out for you, but hopefully had some good vibes to this video, and you maybe learn something, see some weapons I hold on to, and just see maybe you get a little bit of dopamine hit just seeing someone clear up some space. We almost have 200 rounds here, so, or 200 spaces here. So guys, hope you guys have a good day, evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Until next time, be blessed, y'all.